Hello, it's Irie. Today I'm going to walk you through my entire gel nail routine from start to finish. I'm completely self-taught because I don't have the money to spend a fresh set every month. So, a girl has to do what she has to do. I'll share with you my own workflow that I've refined over time. And if you're a beginner, don't worry. I'll break down everything step by step and give you tips to avoid the common mistakes I made when I first started. And by the end, you know how to prep, build, and finish salon looking gel nails right at home. Before we start, this is a gel nails tutorial, not acrylic or polygel, meaning it requires a UV lamp. Now to start, I'm actually going to be taking off my gel nails. Now it's important you know how to take them off because you're going to have to know once you paint them, right? So I'm using a nail drill. Now this is one of the best investments you can make because you can use it for so many different purposes. If you search up nail drills on Amazon, they can actually get quite pricey, so I buy all of my nail equipment and nail polishes from Shein. Their quality is really good and way cheaper as well. So the nail drill comes with this pen looking thing and they have different bits at the tip. Each bit serves a different purpose, but for removing gel nails, it's crucial to have a good drill bit because it will make the removal process much easier. I recommend using this one. Now most drills rotate clockwise and counterclockwise, so you will have to adjust depending on which hand you're working on. In general, you go clockwise for working on the right hand and counterclockwise on the left hand. Like you want the drill to do the work. Let the flow and rotation of the drill shave the gel off. You should never ever have to apply a lot of physical pressure to get the gel to shave off. There's also different speeds, or what we call it RPM, depending on what you are doing with the drill. In general, higher speed for harsher tasks such as removing the hard gel, and lower speeds for more delicate tasks such as cleaning your cuticles. And when you're removing your nails, there's going to be a lot of dust that flies around. So you can get one of those nail vacuums that suck it all up for you, but I just couldn't be bothered to buy one. But I honestly think it is a good investment to get it. So you will have to practice using this drill. It can be scary at first, but don't worry. Lastly, you want to try to at least leave one layer of gel when you're shaving off your nails. You don't want to shave off all the gels so that your nails are actually exposed to the drill. Now, depending on how weak or brittle your natural nails are, you might want to leave a thicker layer of gel. So this gel is going to be the base gel or the very first layer of gel you apply. If you are removing extensions, the process is also similar. However, there is a thing called peel off base, which you could apply to make the removal process easier. But if you are removing gel nails without peel off base, you would soak the nails with remover, and once the colored gel on the surface kind of melts away and you can see the plastic extension, then you would go in with your nail drill and just file it down until you get to the first layer. Alright, once we have all of that, we can prep our nails and get rid of the cuticles. Now this step is super important because if there's any cuticle left on your nail plate, the gel will lift, meaning it won't stay as long. So you want to push back your cuticles using a cuticle pusher. You can soften your natural cuticles with a remover or just soak your hands in warm water. Now once you push it back, this is where the drill bit comes in handy. This is not a requirement, but it is really good if you have one. So you want to use a small drill bit, like a pointed one, to clean up the cuticle pocket. You want to kind of go underneath. Don't be scared when doing this because when you're doing your cuticles, it shouldn't hurt. At least it shouldn't be extremely painful. Then you want to take some nippers, make sure they're nice and clean, and you want to snip away the excess skin. Be careful not to cut your actual skin. Now, if you have extra side skin, you can also trim that too, but also be very gentle with this. And you can go in with a fine drill bit to smooth everything out. This does take practice, especially using the drill and cuticle nippers, so this is something you're going to have to work up over time. Now we can go into shaping the nails. You want to use a nail file to shape them to your preference. Now obviously some nail shapes are going to be harder to file rather than some other ones which will be easier. Now files also have different grits, so the higher the number, the smoother, and lower the numbers, the rougher. So I generally recommend using 180 grit for shaping and the surface prep, and 240 grit or a buffer block for smoothing and finishing. There are grits such as 100 grit, but only use this if you're removing extensions or builder gel. You want to file in one consistent motion, don't saw back and forth too aggressively, and always make sure that both hands are even, and make sure to not overfile into the sides. So I know it's tempting to maybe want to make your nail beds slimmer, but you want to make sure to not dig into that pink part because that will really damage the nail. After, you want to slightly buff the nail surface with a buffer block to remove the natural shine. At this stage, your nails may look a little bit dry or scratched, but that's actually good. We actually want the surface to look slightly rough so the nail products stick better. Next is nail prepping. So you want to use a dehydrator to remove all the oils from the nail plate. You can also wipe this with rubbing alcohol if you don't have one. Where I'm from in Japan, we call it ethanol. It's a type of alcohol, the same type of alcohol found in hand sanitizers. You can also see this as isopropyl alcohol or ethanol in 70 to 99%, and they're often found in drugstores or maybe even your local supermarket. And the reason why this is so important is because if you don't get rid of the oil and dust and residue from the nail surface, your nails won't last as long, especially if you're going to be using extensions. And don't forget the sides and the cuticle area. I like to go in with a wet tissue, but you can also go in with a cotton wipe as well. Then you want to apply a thin coat of primer. So this acts as a double-sided tape for your gel, and it helps your base coat grip the nail better. Now it's finally time for the base coat. So I'm actually using a peel-off base coat because I like to change my nails very often. And if you're using extensions, I actually recommend using peel-off base coat because you can just pop that plastic right off when you're removing your nails. You don't have to waste as much time using the nail drill. However, it's totally fine to just use a normal base coat. There's also types where they come in pots instead of the actual bottles. I just personally like to use the pot because I like using my own brush. I feel it gives more control. You want to first apply a very thin layer. Now this is what's called a slip layer. It's just for the actual base layer to stick to the nail. So you don't want to actually cure this. So once you have your very thin layer, you want to take a bead of gel and gently place it at the top of your nail. You can be quite generous with this and gently move the brush from side to side. Now be very careful with this. You don't want any gel to flood at any point when you're doing your nails. If they go onto the cuticle or your skin, it won't last as long. If you notice that the gel did go onto your skin, just take a toothpick or alcohol and gently remove it. If you're using a runnier base, you might prefer to cure your nails one by one. Actually use a different type of UV lamp such as this one, especially if you're doing extensions, because you want to actually be holding the extensions in place on your finger while you're curing it. When you're applying your base gel, you want to emphasize creating a nice apex. So a nice curve such as this, and you want to make sure it's even. So you often find people flipping their finger upside down so they can let the gravity do all the work for creating that nice curve. So you want to repeat this for each nail. I know it takes patience, but once you've built your base, the rest is all fun design work. I swear, when it comes to doing your nails, 99% it's just prepping it. So after you have the base coat on, it's pretty much done. Just another tip, if you're doing extensions, this is not an extensions video, but if you are interested, you want to make sure you choose extensions that fit your natural nail bed. If they don't, you can cut the base off to get it to fit. And make sure to also buff the back of the extension with a nail file and clean it with alcohol for maximum adherence. And after you have the extensions on, take a little bit of hard top coat and apply it on the back to prevent any dust from getting in. Now is actually the fun part, the actual design you're doing. This is completely up to you. Have fun with this, have fun with the colors. Now since this is a general guide, I won't go super in detail like how to do fringe or magnet or gradient nails. in general, you always want to apply gel polish in thin layers. This prevents streaks and makes it last longer, and you want to always cure in between coats. It's up to you on like if you want to do all the nails at once or not. You can also add glitter, add nail art, stickers, or even small charms. And once you're happy with your design, you want to seal everything in with a hard top finish coat. You want to make sure to cap the edge free so that it doesn't chip, and if you're adding stones or charms, apply a little extra gel or nail glue before sealing, and you want to cure under the lamp one last final time. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this step-by-step breakdown made it a little bit easier and a little less intimidating. If you want me to do a separate video on nail extensions or more advanced nail art, let me know, and don't forget to like and subscribe if this was helpful, and I'll see you next time.